everybody. Thank you for your patience with me today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Zoe had her medical infusion today. We normally don't do it on Mondays. We normally don't have class on Mondays, so today was kind of a topsy-turvy day. But I do have to help her with that when she infuses here at home. So she's all done, and now I can finally focus on you, which makes me so happy. How are you today? I've got Hope in the house. Hope's back. So nice to see you. You guys are talking about us not having a showroom. Yeah, unfortunately, in our new building, it's interesting because a lot of people, I think, aren't, because you may live in a different part of the country or the world where you're not affected so much by the pandemic. That's what I kind of assume sometimes. But we have to be extremely distanced from each other in LA. And now we have a mask mandate back in place. So right now, keeping my team distanced and means we don't really have a place for a showroom right now. And I'll just share this with you so that you guys know, since you're talking about it. What we couldn't do is build a showroom because it's very expensive. You can probably imagine it's building a showroom is about $500,000, and I personally just can't afford to build that, not knowing if we're ever going to use it, and also not knowing if COVID's with us forever. I don't know what shopping is going to look like in 5 years and 10 years. So I just pushed pause on all of it when the pandemic started because I don't have the funds to do that. I can't build twice, you know what I mean? So, and I have to keep my team really safe. So we have to we're back to distancing, we're back to masking, and this could be going on for years. At least according to my doctors at Cedars-Sinai, we could be looking at a 2 to 4 year process for COVID. So anyway, at least in Los Angeles. So just so you know, it's not that we don't want to have a showroom or want to have live events. Like, I love all that, you know what I mean? But I frankly don't see how to do it. And I can't do things twice. You know what I mean? So, and my first priority, just so you know, is the safety of my family and my team. Everything else comes secondary to that, even our community. So I have to kind of have that priority of operations. So yeah, we're not open to the public. We don't have a space right now. So hopefully you can understand. I see the unhappy faces, but do you also kind of see, I hope you see from my perspective, like, hopefully if you had to make these choices and, look at the expenses, hopefully you would make the same decision I made. Maybe not, you know what I mean? But I just couldn't. I was looking at the build out and what if we have to redo it? What if shopping changes forever? What if the pandemic is with us forever? Like, unfortunately, I'm one person, and it was a really tough set of choices to make. Our doctor told us today that there's no more flights for us until the Delta variant is gone. So that means we're probably driving to Denver and canceling the remainder of our travel for the next at least 6 months. So anyway, I love you guys. Hopefully you're somewhere safe and maybe you don't have to deal with any of this. I know I'm in a big city, so I may be and I'm immune compromised. I'm actually more immune compromised than my daughter. So anyway, hopefully, I don't want to make anybody mad. I feel really bad. But at the same time, like, my goal is to get through this pandemic, A, not having it, and B, keeping everybody I know and love really safe from it. So it's a 2-day drive to Denver. So what, I don't know yet. It may be that some of my team who's not compromised can fly, or maybe I drive. I don't even know what's going to happen yet. But I love you guys, and I really appreciate your patience. I have driven to Denver before. It's a beautiful drive, but we broke it up into 2 days. It is a long drive. It takes us through Utah and Nevada, and it's gorgeous. But anyway, I'm so glad I got to go on a trip because it may be the last vacation we have for a couple of years as a family. So thank you for also allowing us that space and time. It may mean that we have lots more time together without any breaks for me. So maybe that's a good thing. I'm actually planning my best friend's wedding. in October in Washington, D.C., and it's looking like I won't be able to be there for it. Can you believe that? So that's the biggest heartbreak to me, is that my best friend's getting married, and I'm probably going to miss it because of this. So I'm going to organize her bachelorette party and then wait for the pictures and videos to come. It's a heartbreak, you know? Anyway, thanks you guys for understanding, because I just haven't been blessed with the health that I would need to go through this process in a different way. But I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and my best friend's very understanding. She totally is. She's like, I get it, and I love you, and I can't move the date, but so I get to design it. I just don't get to probably go and see her. These are the trade-offs that we make, you know? But I love her. I'll be there in spirit with her. Yeah. All right, you ready to read? I'm ready to read. Woo! I want to hug you too. You know, I'm an in-person person. I was leading those full moon and new moon rituals in person in my showroom. I was leading those retreats. I was teaching those incense making and candle making and classes, and I was doing all of that. And I loved it. I mean, I'm an in-person person. I want to hug you. I want to touch you. I want to teach you breath work. I want to snuggle you. I want to kiss you on the lips. I want to lick a stone. So this is definitely not my preferred way of being in the world, but we just have to be super cautious, you know? All right, let's go. So I'm going to ask my spirit guides to help me be a good, clear, and open channel today for the wisdom that wants to come through. I'm going to be with you till 3:30, and then I need a little bit of time to prep class. I will give you an extra 15 minutes tomorrow because of Zoe's treatment today. So we'll catch up on our Wednesday when I'm back with you for readings. I'll catch you up then with the extra 15. Oh, thanks, you guys. All right, Erica. I love calling you Erica, by the way. Come back. Like, as soon as I said your name, like the feed jumped again. Let's do it, Erica. She said, I would love a reading today. Things are hard at work. She's tired. And she needs some supportive direction. Let's see what's coming up for you. I'm reading from the Find Your Light deck today. I had these on the website for a while, but they're on Amazon. Like, go get it on Amazon. I'm not even carrying it anymore because they're on Amazon. So, but I love this deck. So Erica, this one's for you. The guides want to talk about your tiredness. Let's see if I can listen and read at the same time. Okay. You know, sometimes when the stuff comes through and it's weird, it's like, but I just tell you what I hear because maybe it makes sense to you. Have you had your vitamin D levels checked? The guides are asking me to ask you to have your vitamin D levels checked. And to see if you can find a place. I have one here that I go to for injections, to see if you can find a place to have some vitamin supplements. I do the injection. I took Nick last time. I always go before a vacation. If we're traveling anywhere humid, I get the B vitamin injection because it prevents mosquito bites and stuff, but it also really helps with energy. The guys are saying you're low in B vitamins and your vitamin D is low. Sorry, that's weird. The card is I will encourage. So I guess I'm trying to encourage you. I will encourage. Look at the art there. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, this is interesting. The guides have been really like this since I got home. It's interesting. So here's what they're saying for you, Erica. Can you see me? Why is it fuzzy? There we are. Here's what the guides are saying for you. When things seem big, like kind of insurmountable, you have to look at what is smaller than you. And that will put everything in perspective. Do you know what that means for you? Yeah, so when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling taxed, when you're feeling tired, that's, I think, why nature is such a healer. because nature brings our attention to the leaves and the flowers and the seeds and the, you know what I mean, to the tiny, and it helps us remember kind of our place in the order of things. Anyway, I hope that's helpful to you. They're not usually that specific about like, go get your labs done. All right, let's see where I'm going now. Let's see. All right. Sherry Brassard has a birthday coming up and she's asking for a reading. There she is. Hi, Sherry. We have so many Sherrys in our community. I love it. Sherry's a sexy name. You know, I've never met a woman named Sherry who wasn't sexy. I have theories about names. Every woman I know named Sherry is kind of sexy. Every man I know named John is a good person. I've never met a John who isn't like really beautiful in some way. So anyway, I have a theory about names. So Sherry Brassard, it's her 50th birthday tomorrow. It's such a fun birthday for you. You're like turning the corner, girl. Stepping into your biggest wisdom, right? Sherry. Let's see what your card is for the year ahead. Okay, I am the crown of creation. Look at you, birthday girl. Let me see what she says about this card. The guides are kind of leading me that way. She usually doesn't say too much about her cards. I am the jewel on top of creation's head, and I shine in the darkness full of strength and beauty. I am the daughter of the king, the wife of the sun, and the mother of the garden I am in. Well, there's that, Sherry. Woo! What are you creating? There's the potential for this part of your life to be the most fruitful, is the word the guys are using. Like creating things, birthing things, building things. But you have to get very clear about what that vision is. It's tomorrow, yeah? To have a birthday on the eve of a harvest is kind of a big deal. And you're a Leo, so we've got this, right? We've got creation energies kind of flowing from our veins. So I think the most important birthday wish you can make this year, based on what I'm sensing, is what is it you need to birth or create in the year ahead? And then what will you need in terms of support, in terms of, I don't know, tools, to bring whatever that creation is to life. '50's a big birthday. But you know, everybody I know, most of my friends are older than me. I'm turning 48 on the 9th, and most of my friends are 50, 52, 54, 60, 65. Most of my friends are older than me. I have a handful of friends who are younger. So I have this, and they're all thriving, you know what I mean? Like they're all in that 50 to 65 window, really rocking it. So I'm excited about these years because I have such great role models in all of you and in the people I know who've already crossed that threshold. Like I've seen it be a really beautiful portal for growth. So cheers. Okay, where am I going now, Spirit? Where are we going? Okay, Daimichi says, I'm ready for my reading. I'm ready to read for you. I am. Let's do it. Daimichi. Let's see what's going on for you. What do you need to know that you don't know right now? I feel brave. So these are all affirmation cards, right? I feel, I am. And that's part of the reason I love it. And the intention of these cards is how do you bring your light into the world? So for you, it's about being brave. That when you're brave, you bring that light. And sometimes we bring light differently depending on kind of the phase that we're in and what we're learning, right? Like every time I go through a kind of a growth spurt, I mean, I'm not physically growing anymore, but energetically, spiritually, I'm growing all the time. I feel like I shift how I bring my light and beauty to the world. This card, I'll tell you, has kind of a Empress vibe to it. Do you see it? You know, the Empress and the Major Arcana, which is all about like being pregnant with possibility. And this is about having the courage to follow that vision and trust that vision. Yeah, don't be afraid is what I'm hearing for you. Don't be afraid. Move forward with courage and grace. And what the guides are saying is take that step. There's something you need to be doing. I think you probably know what it is. That's the sense I get. But there might be a little bit of like just a tweak of hesitation. But let the voice of your courage be louder than the voice of that little hesitation. That voice is helpful because sometimes when we hesitate, it's good. Like sometimes that voice helps us, keeps us from making a mistake, or it prevents us from overstepping our boundaries, but then sometimes it keeps us small, you know what I mean? And the Lion's Gate has opened today. I'm going to be leading you through tonight. But tonight's really exciting in the class. I hope you can be there live. It's the first time I've opened the Lion's Gate with you guys live. We just normally don't have a class on July 26th. So it just so happens that we have class on the opening day of the Lion's Gate. Okay, let me go back. Well, Hope is here, and I actually did feel called to read for you. So she said, I would love a card reading today if you feel called. I've had a crazy ass few months and could use some wisdom. Let's take a look. I'm really happy you're back. I'm sure you're being greeted with like big open arms because everybody just loves you and has missed you. Although, you know what? I'll tell you, Hope, and I'm going to tell all of you this. Even if you take a break from Soul Shift, I'm still your friend. I'm still your sister. I still pay attention. I still read your posts. I still want to be connected to you. I'm not just connected to you because you're in my group. And I really hope you know that. Like, I feel like I never really lost a beat with you, Hope, because I stayed current with what's going on through your Facebook posts. So I always want you guys to know, like, I had a teacher once where once I wasn't in her groups anymore, she didn't really, she didn't keep in touch. And it kind of hurt my feelings because I was like, well, am I just your student? And maybe some people are, but you guys are not just my students. And I love you and I care about you, even if you're not like paying to have a membership. That's not really what this is all about for me. So I just want you to know that. Like, I love you. I'm grateful I get to read for you today, but I don't really feel like I lost touch with you, and hopefully you feel that way too. So let's see, Spirit Guides, what's coming up for Hope today. Hope, hope, hope. I can feel, it's just a lot. I feel like when I'm in your energy field right now, I just feel like I'm running. Like you know how when you run, I'm not a runner, so, but like if like when I chase the dog or whatever and your heart's just kind of doing that thing, that's how I feel right now in your energy field. So let's take a breath. And you do. Now this is funny, this is going to end up being one of those like repeat cards. I end up pulling the same card for a few people. But I will encourage. It's ironic that, because I've noticed this for a decade, right, with empaths, and I noticed it before when I was a, executive coach before Sage Goddess for all those years. When we're going through it, ironically, that's when the universe wants us to also be mentoring and teaching and guiding and leading, because we go through challenges and struggles actually to figure out how to get through it, and then to teach other people through our lessons and examples how they can navigate it too, right? Because we're here for each other. So at some point, Hope, and I don't want to overwhelm you with this, at some point you will be teaching. And some part of it is going to be rooted in not only what you're going through right now, but what you have been going through for the last cycle, they're saying, which usually means 12 months. Is it an annual cycle, lunar cycle, annual cycle? So everything that you've gone through in the last 12 months, at some point you will be sharing with people in some capacity. As a mentor, as a guide, as a coach, whatever. I don't know what that's going to look like for you, and it's not right now. But you would be really well advised. They want you writing. Maybe it's recording your voice. Could it be recording her voice? Yeah. They want you sharing. I've gone through this and this is how I navigated. Then this happened and this is how I navigated. Then this happened and this is like almost like writing it's like chronological, because there are other people who are going to benefit from knowing how you've navigated what you've been through. Yeah. So, and I know it sucks because on the one hand you could be like, really? But I'm going through it right now. You know what I mean? Give me a darn minute to process it. But sometimes your reflections in the moment are even more valuable than they can be later, right? Alessandra Lancaster says, pleading. Talk to me, darling. What are you pleading for? Would you like a reading? I don't know if you're talking to me or to Hope. Oh, reading. I'm like, well, hi, Alessandra. Let's see what's coming up in the cards for you today. Alessandra. I feel transformed. Do you feel transformed? The art on these cards is just as important as the words. So if you see me spending a little bit of time like showing you the card, it's like, hey, look at her, right? That's freedom. That is no fear. And I love that it's this image of a mermaid too. You know, the mermaid is really powerful in popular culture, but when you like think about why, what is a mermaid? She can go as deep as it goes, right? She can travel to the bottom of the ocean floor, which is still, the ocean floor is still the greatest mystery we have on this planet. It will always be. We will never fully navigate it in our lifetimes because humans can't survive it. And I think that's on purpose. I don't think our creator makes accidents. So I think it's this idea that the mermaid can go all the way to the bottom and come all the way up for air and is the only creature that can navigate both of those terrains with ease. And so that's what's coming up from the guides for you, is recognize that this is a gift you possess. I think you're a little bit of a mermaid, energetically is what I'm getting. And you know how to dive all the way down and come up for air. And you can do it with ease. And those of us who, I'm not really a mermaid. I don't have the capacity to dive as deep as some of you do. I'm more wide. I cover a broader territory, but some of you are more deep. And so what have you learned through your process of navigating those deep waters? And how are you activating that wisdom? What is there for you to share, maybe, with the rest of the world? Have you come to see it as your superpower? Pretty sweet stuff. All right, Sherry Herring. She said, would love a card. My hummingbird is right there, by the way. Hi, baby. Oh, he's literally 2 feet from my head right now. Not even a foot and a half. Where'd you go, Sherry? I might need to, I would love a card to show me what I might need to know from my spirit guides. Her birthday is August 13th and she'll be 53. Another hot Leo. Another hot Sherry Leo. I like it. All right, Sherry. Let's see what's coming up for you on this birthday. Your birthday's right after the Lionsgate closes. Right on the other side of it. Sherry. It's an 8-year, you know. 8 years are big. They bring prosperity. I'm going into a 3-year, which usually brings pregnancy, but that's not real possible. So I wonder what else I'm going to birth this year. I will heal. I like that for your birthday card. Gives new meaning to a birthday card, doesn't it? So this year you're going to heal. Look at that. And look at what's healing in you. It can be you now, but it's also little you. Made in you. Unresolved. What is unresolved? What the guide's talking about. Something from the past is ready to be healed or integrated now. 18 to 20 years old. Gosh, how long ago would that be? 28, 38, 48. That would be 35 years ago. 33 to 35 years ago. What was happening? Journal a little bit about that if you want to. There's something from that time in your life that's ready to be released and healed, and it's coming up now. That's a conclusion of a cycle, they're saying. And that part of you, once you heal it, that could be a little bit of a slingshot. You know, we have these years of like big growth where like, you know, the universe pulls the arrow back and like just kind of shoots the arrow. If you heal whatever this is, it's going to make room. Do you know what I'm talking about? Your ex-husband? Are you ready to heal it? Why do I want to cry right now? I think you're ready. I feel it. What's coming up for you right now, it's moving through my own heart. But let's, you know, let me know how I can be of service to you this time, because this could be real good for you. Let me know what I can do to help you. All right, Megan Easton. I feel like I need to know something, but I'm not catching on. Welcome to my club, Megan. I feel like I'm always like, what? Let's take a look and see what's coming up for you today, Megan, Megan, Megan. I like this for you. Look at her face. It's like me looking at my hummingbirds. I will hope. The guides are asking, where would you benefit from hope right now? I'll tell you, Megan, I walk a weird line with hope because I'm a realist. I'm a pragmatist. I like to know what's going to happen so I can plan for it and make adjustments, right? So I don't like to deal in like rainbows and fairies and like, you know what I mean? I like to deal in what's accurate. But at the same time, I also know that when I sit in a place of hope, I can affect the outcome of things. So through manifestation and through intention. So I walk this weird line. Like, tell me what's going to happen, but also let me try to shape what's going to happen. There are certain places in your life, the guides are saying, where hope would serve you well right now. Hope that an outcome that you imagine might shift and actually support you instead of hinder you or challenge you. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. So in response to your question, I feel like I need to know something, but I'm not catching on. What you need to know is the best case scenario for you is still possible. And then you need to feel into what that looks like. And I'm just saying to you, I know that's harder than shit to do because it is my struggle. I am not sitting here going, just hope, Megan. I'm not. I'm like, I know how hard that is, right? Okay. Brady Chamley, I am at a crossroads. I need insight. What do the guides want me to do? Your 9 year is the conclusion of cycles, Miss Jade. It's endings. My whole astrological chart is 9s. The whole thing. Which is why every astrologer who looks at my chart is like, this is your last lifetime. I'm always like, yeah, I'm hoping so. All right, Brady, let's take a look. You're at a crossroads. What do you need to know? Brady, Brady, Brady. I am destined. Isn't that beautiful? You are destined. It's really beautiful art. Here's what the guides are saying. Again, sometimes it doesn't make sense to me, but I share it with you. Maybe it makes sense to you. They're saying that something you have forgotten how to do, wants now to come through you again in a new form. And it feels creative. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if it's art or music or poetry or dance, but it feels like there's something you have forgotten how to do that wants to come through you again. And will bring a sense and a source of inspiration. Could end up taking you down a really interesting road if you let it, like meeting new people, having new conversations. Is any of this making sense to you? It's almost like reconnecting you with an old gift or an old community or something like that. Now time is, and they've tried to hook this up for you before. The timing wasn't right, but it's better now. It's different now. There's a person involved in this. You used to play violin. Are you serious? Are you looking at the card? I mean, that's crazy, right? It could be your music. My first reaction was either going to be writing or dance, because that's what kind of the images they were showing me, but the card has the violin. It's not so much about the thing, it's about the people. I think they're trying to bring someone into your life, and this will be the how. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, Lauren Conway. Hi, Lauren, how are you? Your tattoo's gorgeous, Durham. They did a fantastic job. That's why I messaged you. I'm like, do you think they can do my moons? Because, you know, I want to have these done permanently. But I'm just scared because I've never had a tattoo and I don't want somebody to fuck it up because I'm a perfectionist. But whoever did yours was like rock star. If you haven't seen Lauren Conway's elemental tattoo, it's a holy shit. Nicely done. So for Lauren, let's see what's coming up for you. Are you traveling? Where are you going? Feels like a short trip. What else is going on with Lauren? You need to unplug a little bit. There's a lot of dense energy around you. Is that true? I feel desired. I bet you do with a Cancer husband. Let's see what the spirit guides are saying. Yeah, you need to get away for a little while. Can you see me? I look blurry again. There we go. You need to unplug a little while. They need to refresh your energy. And it's a little, like I said, they keep saying it's dense around you. And it needs to be lighter. There are other things you can do, they're saying, but getting away for a little while would help. Even just briefly, and even if it's just a few hours away. You need to see different, something different. And when you do this, it's almost a tandem message for you. There's going to be some inspiration. You might connect with someone new. Obviously, there's going to be something of a light bulb moment when you take this time. And again, it could be like a day or 2 days. I'm seeing a very short trip and somewhere kind of close, but just something to, like almost going to Angeles National Forest and walking through the forest, like which for us is like a 3-hour or 2-hour drive, right? Or just something to shift your view. If you're going to Utah, that could be it. Is it a short trip? A couple days? Utah is one living, breathing vortex. So I'm actually really happy to hear that. Okay, then that's what this is. And is this what they were talking about? Is this what you're talking about? Yeah. Yeah, you're either going to see something, meet someone, or have a conversation. It's going to impact how you do what you do for the rest of the year. I like it. It's going to give you some juice. It's going to put some gas in your tank. You know what I mean? 4 days. Can you do an element each day? Like on day 1 of your trip, I've got chills all over, so, and you just got the tattoo. On day 1 of your trip, could you work with air, and on day 2, fire, and on day 3, water, and on day 4, earth? So that each day of your trip becomes an invocation of the 4 elements, which again will really help to balance and anchor your time. I would like that for you. Vanya, would love to know, if someone will be coming to join me and walk this path with me, would be nice. It is nice having someone on the path with you. It is nice. I'm such a loner, you know, but I do like having companionship. It has to always be on my terms. Those of you who are loner introverts are all feeling me right now. You're like, yeah, I need a minute alone. But I hear you. I know what you're talking about. Vanya. The answer is yes. Tell me more, guys. Look at the card. Love that for you. I would kiss you on the cheek just like that right now if I could. Yes, there is someone on your path. It's going to catch you by surprise. It's not this year. Feels like next year. Got to put a date on it. There's a few things that have to happen first, the guides are saying. They say you know this too. There's a lot of, it's a lot, I'm going to explain what I'm seeing. And they show this to me a lot. They show me like a big chessboard, because sometimes we forget, like I'm right here and you're right here, and we think like, oh, it would just be easy to move me here and you here or whatever, right? And yes, if the chessboard was this big, but the chessboard's the size of this room. So way back here, they got to move your person up 2 spots. They got to move this other person away 2 spots. Then they got to move that piece up, and you're over here. So now they got to move you to the left, but you don't want to move to the left. So now they got to move you to the right, and then up, and then back to the left in December. And then this person has to come over here in January, and then over here you are in March, but then you're complaining. So then they have to move you here, and then this person says, no, I'm going to go over here. But like slowly but surely, it's like eventually, I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's what spirit does. They're like, it's like the chessboard's so big and you're over here going, am I ever going to have this? And they're over here going, holy shit, woman. You felt the yes too? So yes, but your chessboard's big. And you have to be ready, right? And that person has to be ready. That person's not ready yet. You're not ready yet. You're closer to being ready than that person is. They're not going to set you up to fail. That's what I've learned. They're not going to do it. And they're not going to do it when you're not ready and jeopardize that person's sovereignty. They're not going to do it when that person's not ready and jeopardize your sovereignty. And when we try to rush the numbers, that's when shit happens. That's when you're like, well, I have somebody, but they suck. And it's like, yeah, well, if you want to rush this whole thing and collapse it or just go get your person on your own free will, you can totally do that. But, you know, when we humans step in and try to fix things, we really tend to fuck it up. So my advice is to be patient. There's a lot of fun ahead of you is what I get, Vanya. I don't say that very often, but that's what I feel. I feel fun. I feel lightheartedness and like laughter and serious but not serious, you know? Like, kind of like exactly what life's all about. But it's a few steps away. So focus on getting ready. Focus on getting ready, you know? All right, Michelle Brucker. She said it's her birthday tomorrow. Hey, goddess. She's never had a reading. It's time, baby. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Another Leo goddess. More my kindred than anybody. Truly. Michelle. You're a July Leo, though. You guys are nicer. July Leos are nicer. Usually. We August Leos are bulls in china shops. Until we grow up. And then we get better. Here's your birthday reading. I am light. Look at that card. You are light, baby. And you're born right in the Lion's Gate, girl. This is your birthright. Where will you take that light, Michelle? That's what the spirit guides are asking. You have work to do. They've been on you about it for a while. There are people in your life who need your light. And they're not easy to share it with, huh? Yeah, I know. I kind of walk a similar path. If you start to look at your path that way, that I have this lantern and I'm here to share this light and I got to figure out what my light is and who needs it and how I'm going to share it and how I'm also going to protect myself and my own light so that I'm not, draining myself to help others and all those things. Like these are the questions that empaths and healers have to ask. But this is your year to sort this out. Yeah. I've had, it's in my life, my path is not your path, but, I've had people all my life ask me, like, why? Why do you work with just anybody, or like, anybody can join your programs, or anybody can, come to your live videos, or anybody can, and it's just like, that's my path. Some people are very exclusive. They only want to work with certain people, or you have to meet their criteria, or, and I respect that too. I know a lot of people like that. You have to apply to join their programs, and they can decline you for any reason. But that's not my path. My path is, I kind of roll with what is, and I trust that what comes my way is meant for me. So, and I feel like your path is kind of like that too. And now you have to figure out, so what does that mean? How do you do that work in a good way that's sustainable for you too? Big questions for a big year. Feels like for you. Okay. Hillary is looking for guidance around career. Let me see what's coming up for you, Hillary. Nope, come back. As soon as you were there, you were gone. There she is. Okay. Hillary. Guidance around career. It's changing. And so you need to, ta-da, stay open. Feel open. I've talked to you before about prosperity in the future tense, because I have always felt that there are kind of bigger doors opening for you, and then there's sort of a timeline for that. They're talking about how you do what you do and it changing, but this feels like good news. I'll tell you what they're saying in just a second. Whatever this change is opens the funnel to allow new people to find you and what you do. So it may seem at first like, ooh, things are changing, I don't know what that means. But the changes long term could actually mean that more people can find you. Does that make sense? So be open to what that means. Don't resist it. And what does that mean? It means, so something comes up, or you get asked to do something, or it's a little bit different than what you've done before. Instead of going, whoa, that's not what I do, or instead go, like, what could this opportunity be trying to teach me? Does that make sense? Doesn't feel like a total shift, by the way, Hillary. It's not like radical departure. It just means it's like tweaks and tunes. You know what I mean? But if you're resistant, you could miss the opportunity, because it is an opportunity. could very much be related to Reiki. That's why I'm saying tweaks and tunes. This is not like a radical departure. This is like, oh, minor tweak. Okay, what does that mean, right? Jamie Ahern says, would love some guidance on my career. Never had a reading. I love the mix of like reading for some of you that I've read for, you know, in the past, and then reading for some of you who haven't had a reading. I really do try to mix it up. I let Spirit kind of guide me for who to go to, but it ends up being kind of a nice mix. So it's a pleasure to read for you, Jamie. I'm glad that you're here. So let's see what's coming up for Jamie. They're talking about new beginnings. Here's the card. I feel balanced. The guys are talking about 1 foot in 2 worlds. Do you know what that means? That you have 1 foot in 2 worlds. I don't know if that's past and present or spirit and material, but 1 foot in 2 worlds. And since you're asking about career, I think that probably means what you're doing now versus what you're going to be doing. And the pendulum is saying yes, that's the truth. Not quite ready to leave the one and go fully to the other, so you're in this kind of liminal space. But the nice thing about, liminal spaces is that it gives your, at least in my experience, when you're between things, I think of myself as being in a liminal space, right? Like I have a team and a building and things that we do, but I'm at home and doing a lot of my work virtually. Like I'm in a liminal space too, but it creates, it tends to create balance and alignment because there's a fluidity and a flow. You're not quite here and you're not quite there, so you can kind of see both worlds with equal clarity. You will leave this liminal space. You're in a cycle with this, and they're talking about December, but it could be December 2022. Okay, the closing of this cycle that you're in, and the pendulum is like yes, 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 is December 2022, which is 17 months from now, is when this particular cycle will be complete. In the meantime, your job, they're saying, is to learn as much as you can. And they're saying that you know this to be true as well. Because everything that you're going through right now is critical to the process of completing this transition. And it's very much, what I do feel is you're on purpose. You are on task, on target. So whatever this is, you're riding it well, and let the wave kind of, you know what I mean, break at the shore. Let it go through the cycles. Don't try to interrupt or get in the way. It's all happening. I'm glad that's helpful for you. It feels really good. And I will tell you something too. Let me finish. Like, it's just because the guys are like, oh, maybe it's because I haven't read for you before. They're like, no, this is still for Jamie. I don't know what this means. They're saying at the end of the cycle, you're actually going to be a little bored. Because you haven't been bored in a long time, huh? Remember this. Remember that I told you this. Because when that time comes, that boredom is actually a gift. It's because that you will need to rest at the end of that cycle. And so January 2023 could be like kind of like a reset and an integration. After every big, and this could be for a lot of you, after every big cycle and transition in life, the universe gives you a break, a pause. Have you noticed this? And a lot of us are like, but nothing's happening now. and we get bored. And we're like, what now, universe? But the universe is asking you to integrate. The universe is asking you, what did you learn? How are you going to work with that medicine now? How are you going to teach people what you've learned? How are you going to share what you know? Like, when you get to the end of a cycle and you get bored, you have to remember that you shouldn't be bored. You should then be thinking about, okay, why did I go through this? How do I share it with other people? How can my wisdom benefit others? Yeah. So I'm really glad that your reading came up today, because I actually think there's wisdom in that for other people and where they're going and what's happening to them too. Kaz says, just a quick question, not a reading. What are your thoughts on reading for someone who's been toxic toward you in the past? You really want my thoughts on that? I know you do. How do I put this? I don't hold on to anything at any time from anyone. Because it all comes out in the wash. And I've had plenty of people be real shitty to me. So, yeah, I'm not saying that because I've never had anybody be toxic. Like probably what you're defining as toxic. But I absolutely will shut the door on the past and move forward. Because I believe in people's capacity to change and to evolve and become a higher, brighter, better version of themselves. I'm a higher, brighter, better version of myself. And I have been shitty to people. So if I were to not create space for people to evolve, then I would be a really big hypocrite. But you don't have to agree with me on that. I mean, I don't, it's okay. If you're like, nope, I just can't read for people or help people who are shitty to me, I'd be like, okay, you can't do it. But I don't hold on to anything. Especially if people are genuinely, like, sorry. But I've had people where I've been shitty to them, and I've gone back and said, I'm really sorry for A, B, and C, and I've had people go, nope, I never want to see you, I would never forgive you, or whatever, like, I wasn't compassionate to them, or I judged them for something, and the door just closes. And I don't judge those people either. But I have just found that because I'm human and I make mistakes and I try to get better and ask for forgiveness, I need to be able to create that space for others too. Okay, I'm going to do one more individual and then a collective. Let's see here. Teresa Cruz would love a birthday reading. What's next and how do I move forward after this past year of being stuck? Thank you, Debbie, for the time check, by the way. Let's do it. How do you move forward after this year of being stuck? It's like the universal question because you're not the only one, right? Teresa. What does she need to know about making progress? It's weird. A commercial just popped up on my screen. Win a something. I don't know what that was. I am a voice. Interesting answer to your question, isn't it? It's interesting. I'm feeling for you what I've felt for a couple people in readings today, which is you figure out how to share what you've learned. And you put it to use. You teach. You're not stuck. You haven't been stuck. This is what the guides are saying. You're not stuck. You haven't been stuck. You've been on pause. And now you're on play. The timing wasn't right for a lot of action and engagement and interaction. Because you were doing internal work and it feels like being stuck. When we as humans have certain expectations, that we're going to make progress and that we're going to have results and stuff, because that's what we live in. And so we have this tendency to look at these periods of inner work and inner transmutation as falling behind or being stuck, or we have all this language in English about this, right? And you haven't been. You've been on pause for a specific reason. Also, they're saying to conserve your energy. Does that make sense? If you had been more outward this year, you would have expended a lot of energy that wouldn't have come back to you. Holy shit. That actually resonates with me too. You would have expended a lot of energy that wouldn't have come back to you. So the universe decided to not have you do it. So now the energy that you expend will come back to you. Why does that mean? Yeah, and by the way, I commented on the post about your dad today. What a sweet spirit. His genetics, can we just talk about that for a second? I see so much of him in you. I do. In your whole family. His incredible smile. Imagine, right, Teresa? Like, you had that time with him. So I call that not being stuck. I call that being put on pause. And now you're not on pause anymore because he's flown free. What a beautiful soul he has. Thank you for sharing the picture, because I could really see his spirit in you. Because, you know, you and I have met in person.